What's good? We back. Sorry, but not sorry. Boxing talk with CamJNetwork, man. We back with another banger, man. But before we get started on this video, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Support us on the channel and help us get this content moving around the algorithm, man, by hitting the like button. And as well, subscribe to the channel if you ain't subscribed, man, for sure, man. We working over here, man. Dropping several videos today, just giving my takes on, some of these different boxing topics that's out there. And this is another one that came across, man, that I wanted to kind of, give my opinion on. A lot of confusion around Boost Ennis right now, man. Um, and I got some content to go ahead and show y'all on this particular situation. And let me pause the background music, man. And let me play this first clip right here. This is Turkey Sheik speaking on Boost Ennis right here.
On the
It will be
November
the night of
card?
an announcement.
Wait,
Yeah,
on the November card?
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Will
Turkey.
be five fight, five champion. The night of champion.
Nice. Turkey.
Perfect.
What is up with Jerron Boots Ennis? Does he not want to come to the kingdom? We were supposed to get
No, no,
Jerron
no,
T.
no,
Okay.
no. As I said to you, we want. I want to do big fight. I can accept someone. I want to tell you something. If I want to do Joshua and Tyson Fury next year, we are trying to do it and thinking about it. Of course, I need to have two for each one of them tune-up fights first. Why? Because they are both of them coming from losing, even if it is big fight, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay, to build it up. But as a Anas, this is the first time between me and he doing business. He asked to go to 154 and have tune-up fight first. I am not charity. Go do it with Eddie, the tuna fight, and if you're ready, you will have in my side a lot of people waiting for you.
So there you got Turkey Sheik basically saying that he was trying to sign up Jerron Boost Ennis to fight on the November card, which is, we seeing reports out there with Jerron Boost Ennis name attached with Virgil Ortiz's name for November, but nothing, came through. And of course, it was another report this past weekend that Boost Ennis and Virgil team, both teams was linking up and having negotiations about a fight. And from my personal, you know, knowing from my guy, man. Salute to my brother L Boxing, man. We talked about this situation, and this was like a situation that we talked about literally like 2 weeks ago, where we all knew about Virgil Ortiz having his hand injury, and we were hearing that with Virgil Ortiz hand injury, that they teammate wanted a softer touch, but Turkey Sheik in this clip right here is saying that, you know, he was trying to set the fight up for November, and Jerron Boots wants two tune-ups. Now, the two tune-ups is a little bit of a reach, in my opinion, you know what I mean? But here goes a clip of the man, Eddie Hearn himself, last night. He's um up there for the event for Bam Rodriguez versus Kafu this weekend. And here he goes talking about Jerron Boots Ennis. And let me add a little context with the tune-up talk though. The tune-up situation is like, all right, Turkey, you done gave guys like Anthony Joshua tune-ups with Francis Ngannou and Otto Wallen and shit, and you didn't we didn't see you give other guys tune-up fights. And I understand you mentioning that, oh, you want to give AJ and Fury a tune-up fight, and before you try to get them, together to fight each other, just because both of those guys coming off a loss. But at the same time, you didn't do that with everybody. Like with Deontay Wilder, you gave him Joseph Parker and gave Anthony Joshua, Otto Wallen, and trying to match up, both of those guys. Joseph Parker wasn't a tune-up fight for Deontay Wilder. That was a legitimate, 50-50 fight for Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? Like Turkey out of sheep picks and choose who he wants to give, you know, easy fights for or tough fights for. You know what I mean? Like he messed around and after Joseph Parker, he gave Deontay Wilder Zali Zane. You know what I mean? That's not no another tune-up fight after a loss. You know what I mean? So you see the contradiction in Turkey Al Sheikh right there where he's saying, oh, I'm looking to give fighters 50-50 fights. I'm not trying to do tune-ups. Boots wants a tune-up. I don't want to give him a tune-up. I want to give him a 50-50 type fight. But you don't do that with everybody across the board, though. That's the thing. So that's my take on that, particularly as far as Turkey saying on tune-ups. He picks and chooses who he wants to give easy fights for or tough fights for because he's a fan that's using Saudi Arabia's government money to make fights happen, and majority trying to pull a lot of those fights over there in Saudi Arabia. And I got a feeling that Boots Ennis honestly don't really care to fight over there in Saudi Arabia 100%. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but here's this clip right here of Eddie Hearn speaking about the situation right here.
Is it true that you bumped into Virgil Ortiz here?
Yeah, at the baggage claim, yeah.
So there's so much going on, I hear that Jaron wanted to take two tune-up fights before he faces Virgil. Virgil says that he's ready. So what's gonna be?
So we got asked if we'd fight Virgil Ortiz on the August 16th card, which she said yes, we'd be interested. Virgil come back and said I'm not ready till later in the year, right? Then we decided to lock in a fight for Boots end of September, beginning of October, right? Then Turkey come back and said, do you want to look at the fight for November 22nd? And we said, look, we're taking this fight as our first fight at 54. We will agree the Virgil Ortiz fight in the process. It's not like we're going to take a fight, then we'll speak after. We can lock that fight in now. Myself and Golden Boy are talking about that fight. It's going to be one of the biggest fights in America. And as I said to Virgil the other day, like, you two guys are two young, brilliant fighters. This fight is happening. December, January or February, Boots against Ortiz will happen. And you keep building it up, you two young guns, because I tell you something now, we see fights a lot, big names, but at the back end of their career. This is two pound-for-pound stars in their absolute prime. And Boots will do a job on Virgil Ortiz. Trust me when I say it. I like Virgil, and I tell him to his face, there is no way he beats Jaron Ennis. No way. So he ain't got to wait. We've got to just have our fight, which we agreed because he wasn't ready August 16th. There's no drama. There's no beef. We'll take that. We'll agree to fight. Now we don't need two warm-up fights. I don't know where this comes from. It's the first fight at 154. No problem. Watch Boots at 154. Watch the fighter he is.
So there you have it right there. Eddie Hearn speaking about the Boots in the situations pertaining to him wanting two tune-ups and not trying to fight Virgil Ortiz right there. Now, Eddie Hearn definitely said that Turkey Al Sheikh offered him a fight for November. So he confirmed that Turkey Al Sheikh, that they were trying to make the fight happen in November, which I already spoke about that. We already, publicly known that that was like a thing that was, Turkey Al Sheikh was trying to do. But see, the thing is, with Boots Ennis right here, where it makes him look different is, okay, Virgil Ortiz, they said they wasn't going to be ready for August, but they said that they'll be ready for November. That's what it looks like. And Eddie Hearn and them already moved around, which is, I already heard in the grapevines, me and my boy Elder, like I said before, we was talking about that Boots was looking for, his first fight at 154, possibly in his hometown in Philly, which is, Eddie Hearn just mentioned that just now, September, October, hometown fight, first fight for Boots Ennis in Philly at 154. And like I said, with Turkey Al Sheikh, he was trying to make that fight happen in November. people is coming down on Boots Ennis right now because they saying if Virgil Ortiz was ready in November, then why take a tune up? You ain't coming off a loss. You coming off a amazing performance, beating Amanda Stanionis and unifying at 147. You're not coming off a loss. Come up and go ahead and just wait until November and fight Virgil Ortiz in November. That's where the flack comes from. The fans and media on Boots Ennis right there because they believe Boots Ennis should have took the fight in November instead of taking his tune up. But in reality, like I said, me and Nelda, we talked about that. It kind of, to me, it feels like both guys, like Virgil, he wanted uh, a soft touch too, a little tune up just to test his hand out and see where his hand was at before he get into the fight with Boots Ennis. And you got the same thing with Boots Ennis. His first fight at 154, he want to see where he had a little bit, so he want to take on a little softer touch a little bit first, moving up in 154. But like I said, the flat comes at if Virgil says that he's ready in November, people want to see that fight in November, and Boots they're moving on like we gonna have our first little fight at 154, and if Virgil he available to and ready to fight top of 2026. Let's run it. You know what I mean? Let Virgil get him a little fight in there between time possibly as well. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, it's too much confusion around everything that's going on with Boots Ennis. You got one person saying this, you got one person saying that, and Boots Ennis, I feel like they need to get after this situation in particular. Like they need to come out in the public and talk about it. Get on YSL, well, get on Sports Media, man. Get with Jamil and them, and go ahead and get ahead of this situation, man. Because I remember Bruce Ennis did say back in the past, if it ain't come from me, it ain't true. And no, we heard Turkey Al Sheik and we heard Eddie Hearn speak on this situation, and it's just too much confusion. And we need to hear, from Bruce Ennis himself, what is he trying to do? What's the plan? Like, we know you at 154. We know no, you vacated the IBF. You didn't vacate the WBA yet because it looked like you was trying to move your status up in the WBA and go through that sanctioning body. You can't get the interim champion with Eunice Telez. The regular champ is Bud Crawford, which is about to fight Canelo, which he's probably going to end up getting stripped from that title eventually, since he's moving up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. So Eunice Telez, he's the one that's the interim champion, but he has a fight in August. So you can't fight Eunice Telez. So now you're looking at other fights that you can get. We remember with Boots Ennis, he was at 147, and in the process, they mentioned that an offer was sent to Charles Conwell at 154, where that looks different right there. Like Boots Ennis was on record after one of his fights saying that, if he can't get up none of the champions at 147, I'll move up to 154. You know what I'm saying? And then when, the Charles Conwell situation didn't go all the way out, Charles Conwell ended up having a fight with another guy. Um, you know, they end up making the Stanionis situation happen. And then, Boots was trying to, unify after even more after the win versus Stanionis. And, he got Barrios and Norman Jr. Both of those guys had fights going on and they wasn't trying to fight at the time. And Boots said he wasn't willing to wait on those guys, which is I was a guy that was saying like, man, Boots, forget those other guys. Those other guys at 147 that's been trying to fight you, go up to 154, man. Like, go up to 154 and challenge those guys. That's how I personally feel about it. And you know what I'm saying, for us to 154. And Boots, he ends up moving up to 154. And with another situation, it was Devin Haney that came out the other day last week speaking about, a situation with Boots Ennis right here. And I'm going to show this little screenshot my boy Thrill Boxing Magazine, they put this up of the interview from Devin Haney saying Devin Haney says after rematch fell through and Tiafimo fell through, he said yes to boost Ennis at 147, but Ennis wanted a 152 catch weight, so they didn't agree on the weight. Now he have Haney versus Norman now, and that was on Fight Hub. If you want to check out that for an interview right there, and when this first came about right here, I was like, man, this don't sound right. This coming from Devin Haney, man. We know the Haneys, they always be lying out here all the fucking time. So, I'm talking on Facebook. Shout out to my dogs over there in King of the Ring, Boxing Talk, that Facebook group over there. JTW, he posted this from Thrill Boxing. And I'm in the comments, I'm like, man, this cat. Then JTW, he said, Devin said it himself. And then, myself, I said, Devin says a lot of things. I seen the video clip of what he said. He capping on the boots part, though. And then JTW says, damn, you think so? I don't know, man. And then Jamil Parker from YSM Sports Media, he says he's not capping about it. So when Devin Haney mentioned that Boots Ennis wanted to fight Devin Haney at a catch weight at 152, it was true. And this is just odd to me. It's real odd to me right here, man. Boots, why would you want to fight Devin Haney at a catch weight? Like, I wouldn't even entertain that fight. I would have fight one of these other guys at 154 that's stronger than him. Like, I don't mind Boots Ennis taking a tune like a tune, if you want to call it a tune-up fight, a soft fight starting off at 154. I personally don't mind it. I know other people feel different about it, but I don't have no problem with it 100% in my opinion. My thing is, if you're gonna take one, it needs to be one of the strong contenders at 154. And my thing too as well is, you got a guy like Charles Conwell that's under the Matchroom staple. Go back and revisit that fight. That'd be a nice little fight for you for sure. You can go back and revisit that. You know what I mean? Make sure that it's a true contender at the 154 division. Instead of, fighting a guy that we just know you on 100% just dog walk. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel people want to see, a fucking 90-10 fight or an 80-20 fight. They want to see a little bit of something competitive from Boots Ennis on his first fight at 154. And hopefully the same for Virgil Ortiz on his first fight back with his hand injury. And me just looking at the WBA, like, I mean, honestly, man, all of the good fights at 154, in my opinion, the is at PBC. You know what I mean? You got, Sebastian Fundora, Tim Tszyu, both of them fighting tomorrow night for, the WBC strap. Of course, you got Hazel Ramos. He's a part of the WBA sanctioning body. Israel Madrimov, he in the WBA central sanctioning body. Those are two significant names that would be, some good fights for Boots if he was to look at that. Bakram, champion in the IBF at 154, right now look like he's about to fight Erison Lubin after Josh Kelly. Those negotiations not falling through, so look like Bakram and Lubin is probably gonna get it on since Lubin is the number one contender in the IBF. You got Xander Zayas about to fight Jorge Perez for that vacant WBO title right there. So you got that in play. Serhii Boachuk, he got a fight coming up. Keith Thurman available. You know what I mean? It's some names out there. It's some fights out there. And it's just all about, who he's going to choose, which is, I don't know right now, personally, in myself. But Boots Ennis is, in my opinion, I think he would have been way better off over there messing with PBC. Around the time when people was claiming Boots was ducking Virgil a while back, Eddie Hearn wasn't nowhere to be found to defend, Boots Ennis in this situation. Only person that was there to defend Boots Ennis was Stephen Espinosa. He was the only one. And that really like that really struck home with me real closely because I was like, damn, Eddie won't defend him, but Stephen Espinosa, he defended him, and that ain't even his fighter. And I always said Eddie Hearn has a bad track record with American fighters, man. And this is, a similar situation right here with Boots Ennis. Yes, he is trying to promote Boots Ennis as a star, having him main event in his hometown twice and up in Atlantic City, and now possibly doing another third fight in his hometown in Philly as well, coming up in the fall, September, October. I'm hearing October most likely, but um, Eddie Hearn just has not been well with American fighters, and in this situation, it's just getting bad. Like Boots Ennis is looking bad out here a little bit in a sense. And who's going to be the person to clear this shit up 100%? I don't think Eddie Hearn's, his statement on what he said pertaining to, Boots Ennis with the tune-ups was, a well drawn out, statement 100%. You know what I mean? So that's why I said I feel like Boots Ennis need to be the one hop on there with YSL Sports Media and get on the camera and speak on this, man. Or, hop on your social platform for us, Instagram or whatever, and speak on this, man, because we want to hear from the horse's mouth what's going on with Boots Ennis, man. Boots Ennis, I feel like he's definitely one of, the best fighters in the game right now. I feel like he's very talented, and I'm happy that he's at 154, and I want to see him in some great fights at 154, man. But a lot of the confusion, it looks bad on Boots Ennis. It does. And you can't be always quiet and reserved and lay back and just sitting there, just letting everybody else talk and get they talking points off on you and spread narratives on you and everything, and you not speak up for your own self. You got to speak up, Boots Ennis, for sure, man. I'm definitely a big fan of you, and I don't want to see you looking bad out here, man. I don't want to see none of the fighters looking bad out here. But, a lot of certain circumstances, a lot of people speaking for, other people and everything. And sometimes you your own self, you got to get ahead of the ball and speak for your own self and clear the air and, let people know the situation from, your standpoint. But a lot of emphasis, Boots Ennis, he don't talk much, but when he does talk, a lot of people pick apart what he says, you know what I mean, and take it and run with it and run content on it, you know what I mean, like they do with a lot of other fighters and stuff, and, it's a part of the game. But Boots Ennis, I feel he definitely need to get ahead of the game and, talk about this situation, clear this shit up. Far as his fight in October, looking forward to seeing who the opponent is going to be, and can't wait to see what's next for Boots Ennis, man. Definitely, a big fan of Boots Ennis and want to see him do well. But right now, things is looking a little shaky out here. It's looking confused. A lot of confusion that need to get cleared up from, the guy Boots Ennis himself, man, because they try to make it seem like he ain't trying to fight, the top guys for real 100% at 154. Do I think Boots Ennis scared of Virgil Ortiz? Fuck no. I don't think he's scared of no Virgil Ortiz. I don't think Boots Ennis scared of anybody personally. You know what I mean? It's just, in this particular situation, Virgil coming off a hand injury. And, they already was looking forward to another fight, moving on and looking to possibly face Virgil's top of 2026. That's how they was moving. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to get a little feel at 154 before they start, taking that next level, which is, I'm cool with that. I know some other people may not be cool with it, but, I mean, it is what it is, man. And I'm cool with it, but got to clear this shit up, though, for sure, man. And I am in agreement with some of the fans. If Virgil did say he's ready in November, then Boots, why not get it cracking? But then that situation kind of made it seem like Boots didn't want to fight in Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. That's just me. That's just me thinking. It looked like I don't think he cares to fight in Saudi Arabia personally, and he wants to continue his, his push, pushing his brand in America and main event and everything. If he would have fought on that November card, he probably would have been main event anyway, because they got David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde as the main event on November 22nd. So interesting, man, for sure, man. Make sure y'all like and comment on this video. Give me y'all opinion on the topic matter at hand for sure. And make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you ain't subscribed, man, for sure, man. We working, man. We got more on the way for y'all, man. And for sure, remember, we live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we will be live Sunday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time for the Sorry But Not Sorry Boxing Talk Roundtable show, recapping the fights from Saturday, man. So definitely, man, like on this video and subscribe if you ain't subscribed. We working, man. CamJNetwork, Sorry But Not Sorry Boxing Talk, and we out of here.